What is going on, guys? Obviously, it's Jordan here. I've just come back from Asda and I've seen two emails. One from Citi saying rejection, one from Morgan Stanley saying a telephone interview next week. So we've made some decent progress recently. I've obviously, as I said off camera, I applied to a lot of engineering firms. We're still waiting to hear back from them, but I mean, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good right now. 1L, 1W, but we're still waiting for a few. And hopefully before Christmas, 3 weeks from now, we can get a couple more. But, as the story goes, let's see. At long last, we have news of a telephone interview, and this from Morgan Stanley, of course. I've got some notes up here that I'll go through in a sec. I haven't really finished it out yet. These are just some tech things. Obviously, the questions I expect them to ask me, and these are some general tips of how to succeed in a telephone interview. So yeah, we're gonna do that in a sec. Hope you can see I'm not very prepared. The room's a bit of a mess. I've got that chair in the back, but nonetheless, telephone. All I need to do is have a voice. So yeah, we'll see how that goes in the next. It's in 2 hours from now, so I'll finish this prep, and then hopefully, we'll do well. Hopefully, we'll do well. So of course, about to go, phone in hand. I always give them the number for this phone instead of this phone because it means I can record. Obviously, why else would I do that? But nonetheless, I've got my notes up here. Obviously, if you didn't know already, you can do this. If you put Word in read mode, it means it's easier to read. Fundamentally, that's it. Obviously, I don't have the questions. These are just the questions that I thought would come up, and I have naturally examples in my head of things that I might be able to use if they do come up. Uh, yeah, this is Jordan speaking. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Okay, thank you very much. Bye. What unbelievable timing. I feel like, anyway, that was decent. I didn't expect a lot of the questions that came up. The ones that I prepped for obviously weren't. Not one of them came up, which was the first one, like why Morgan Stanley. That's typical. And then they never asked like tell me about yourself. That's what I thought would come up. Usually people ask about things that are in the news or like working well on a team. None of those came up. No teamwork, leadership, motivation questions came up. It was purely like I got them written down actually, but I shouldn't say because that would be super probably illegal. But I figured while I'm here, I might as well talk about the differences again between like video and telephone interview. So video interviews are like people prefer video in industry because they can send it to anyone. You answer like 5 separate videos, and they can go to 5 different people who can all review it and give you like 5 different scores, which they can do anytime as well, anywhere in the world. So it's interactive. It's easier for them to like do it, and I find it easier to be fair. Obviously, you got to put on a shirt and tie, but it's not that big a deal. You just talk and then send it off and whatever. Telephone is quite annoying because you can't really be interrupted. It's all got to be done at once. You can bring notes, which is useful, and of course, as I mentioned, there's notes in front of me, but it's like you have to make it seem conversational. Like, oh yeah, you can't literally read off a script because that will make you look very, very bad. And I mean, you shouldn't read off a script anyway. It should be very much like a formal interview in real life where you're talking to a person. But that's a bit mad. Yeah. Either way, I've done it. I think people asked me last time like, how would you structure a typical interview answer? And it should always be like there's a CAR method or STAR method or different ways of doing it. CAR just means context, action, result, and STAR is situation, task, action, result, or something. Which basically means first you say what it is. Like if they're asking about a time you worked in a team, you say a football match. A part of a football team. That's your context. Your action is you are losing at half time. You went into whatever and did X, Y, Z, and then the result is that you won. Or let's say it's a project in uni. You can be like your context was you were doing this project group task with your team. The action was you were a bit behind. You didn't maybe someone didn't do their work, so you had to space out the work to other people. And then the result was you got the task done. You got a 2-1, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's basically all the questions I had last time that I quickly addressed. Nonetheless, that interview's done. We've also heard back from. It's quite funny. EY messaged me saying we've changed the methodology of like how we mark our new testing thing, and that means that we'd like to re-invite you to an interview. And then 20 minutes later, they say, "Oh, sorry, wrong person." Like, I think that's kind of funny. BAM will literally like every week, BAM or Bank of America will email me saying like, "We're still reviewing, we're still reviewing, we're still reviewing," and that's cool. I'm happy that they actually update me, so I'm not like left in the dark. But it can get a bit annoying where I'm like, "Oh, maybe I've got it this time," and then it just says we're still reviewing. but it's fine. I'd rather know than not know. Of course, Morgan Stanley just done now. I think I mentioned before that I got Citi rejected. I got something else. I never actually applied to KPMG. I'm gonna do PwC at some point. The deadline is in January, so there's no rush for that. And then I've got a lot of course, engineering summers that I got to apply for, and yeah, we'll see if I can get something later. So another thing as well, I've got to mention that I applied for Adecco's CEO for a month. That I did it last year, but the deadline was like the 27th, and I thought that meant the end of day 27th. What that meant was end of day 26th. So when I logged in on the 27th or whatever day it was, they said you're late, you can't do it. So that was super annoying. So this year I got in really early and just did it right off the bat. I think the deadline's in February, but I've already got it submitted. Of course, as I said, PwC I'll do at some point. And yeah, I also applied to Greensill. They seem like a very exciting firm. Greensill, like supply chain financing. So I've done some of that. And then again, these are all like spring positions. When it comes to engineering stuff, that's all going to be summer, and hopefully I can get a summer out of the way. Sadly, I wasn't allowed to do a year in industry, a placement, which would have been a lot easier, I feel like, and a lot less stressful. But nonetheless, we move. And hopefully the next time I do this, we'll have something in the bank, be it an assessment center, that would be super cool, or unlikely, but also possible, would be an actual internship or a spring week. And yeah, let's see. So finally, end of day. Obviously today I did the call earlier, the Morgan Stanley call. It's now just past midnight on Thursday, 12th of December, and it's been an interesting flow. I mean, if you haven't already realized, I'm doing these videos every Friday, which means every other Friday. So I'm uploading on Fridays now, and I've obviously got the other series going on as well, the Flip Challenge, which we'll update you on very, very soon. But I mean, let me briefly show you this spreadsheet. So as you can see, I've deleted a few things. Unilever, as you just saw, got rejected from. Greensill I applied to recently, and yeah, I'm waiting back for those four in the middle that I've done interviews for, and then the other CEO for a month and two at the bottom are things that I've applied for. I'm still waiting for see if I progressed, if I want an interview or whatever. So it's like I said, it's interesting. It's quite cool. All the other engineering ones, as I said, I applied to them recently, well, like in the last week anyway. But all this happened since I sent my application off, and I haven't heard back from them yet. That's why it's still red. As soon as I hear back, like a confirmation, then it will go orange, and if I get into it, it'll go green, yellow, sorry, and then we'll progress through. But until I get some sort of confirmation, I'm going to leave it. I find it kind of weird, because generally it's like we received your application, it's been under review or whatever. But I don't know, maybe it's just the time of year. Maybe it's just waiting for a couple of days so they can go through systematically and email everyone. But nonetheless, that's basically going to be it for this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if I get some more interviews or whatever, that will be in rotation. If you want to keep up to date outside of the videos, check out my Instagram, sorry, or Twitter or anything. But otherwise, that's basically it from this episode. So thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.